And welcome back. Game number 2 of our leadoff series here in day 2 of the D2L. And not going to lie, man, Polar has looked so sharp from the moment they landed their first series yesterday. Really a coming out party, and really, we were all taken by surprise with how well they were able to integrate Jimmy, Mr. Demon, on into their lineup despite a big language barrier. And today has done nothing but prove that 100 times over. His play in Game 1, phenomenal.
I mean, everyone's really was. They had a slow start on the Night Stalker and the Puck, but once they got the ball rolling, Illidan, which is, I think Illidan, to me, has been the most impressive out of the 5, really. I not to say that I didn't think he was that great of a player, but
right.
He didn't stand out to me in the regular season. I mean, obviously, VP Polar in general just didn't play that well, to be quite honest, but he is really stepping it up on land, and that's when it matters the most, so, yeah.
Well, we're going to move on into the draft. It is about halfway done now. Let's see what these two teams have in store for us for Game 2. Ancient Apparition and Centaur snagged up by LV Gaming, and it's going to be Polar getting the Brewmaster and the Venge. It was Ohio on the Brew last game. Really struggled on that hero, if we're completely honest, while it was a great performance from FNG. Worked really well with Demon in that support tandem. The Venge and the Dazzle. The Dazzle is available if they want to go back to that, but LV grabbing up a very, very bursty kind of AoE early combo in the Ancient Apparition and the Centaur. And I've actually seen Ancient Apparition and Centaur just waylay entire teams before. If you're able to Ice Blast 2 or 3 and then able to get a nice double edge onto some squishies, you can really turn the fight in less than a second.
Yeah, you definitely can. It's very interesting start to the draft for LV. Not something I would expect from them. And yet again, the Lycan ban out from VP Polar. Maybe that was just their go-to strat. I'm wondering what else they have, because they looked solid. They looked unbeatable in the games against EG. Was that EG just not playing too well that time, or was that strategy really just that strong? Maybe a little bit of both, but I'm very interested to see LV Gaming go for something completely different, not only in this last game, but this game too. AA, Centaur, now an Ogre Magi. These are not heroes you see picked up all the time. AA's been, of course, more popular this tournament, but it's just an interesting draft startup from LV Gaming in particular.
No, I completely agree. The Ogre coming back gives them another stun. It's a nice setup for a stomp if you want to lead with that. They are going to go right on back to what worked for them in Game 1 as they grab Dazzle up to go with the Venge. Would imagine that's going to be FNG back on the Venge with the Demon on the Dazzle. Really excellent play out of both of them in Game 1. Now it's a matter of how they want to complete the lineup. I mean, you could see the attention that LV is giving to Illidan with their first two, with the Slark ban. But LV grabs themselves an Invoker, and that's, of course, going to be from Mushi. So some excited fans out there in the crowd. I can hear them.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do with the Quaswex or the Exort. I think in this metagame, it's so funny because for the longest time, Exort was still the best and just far superior to the Wex or the Quaswex and Invoker. But it seems like now just not because it's funny because they've even nerfed Cold Snap, which I think nerfs more of the Quaswex and Invoker because you basically have 3 spells. It's the Cold Snap, the EMP, and the Tornado. Those are like your big spells, really. But with the Exort, I feel like you have a little bit more room to do a lot more things. It's a little bit more stable. You farm a lot faster. You secure mid to late game with a Necro 3. But just how the metagame has evolved, Quaswex has been much more important because Ember Spirit's been popular. Disabling the shield from him instantly is very popular.
That's actually huge.
The mana burn in general has just been a lot more effective in this metagame. So it's like, I looked on paper about a few months ago, it said Exort the way to go, no doubt about it. But it seems like Quaswex seems to be the more appropriate way to play him in these days.
Well, especially against a hero like the Brew, as you had mentioned. I mean, being able to burn his his mana off, he kind of has to decide that he wants to go with a BKB early. Otherwise, he's hugely susceptible to having his mana burned. And then it's like, okay, do you get a wand? Are you going to have stick charges? Do you do something crazy like a Soul Ring, which very often you see like a Wraith King do in some situations like that? But it does confound things a little bit and forces you to adapt to the playstyle. Not to mention, last I heard, Mushi's good at mid. He's good at mid Dota. So putting him on a playmaking hero like an Invoker, certainly a good choice anytime you get the chance and it makes sense to do so. And at this point, it's really about Illidan. What do they want to snag up for him? Mag still looking for his hero as well.
I mean, this could definitely go Clockwork for the off lane, most likely for Mag. You know, when I first found out or knew about Mag when he was playing back for Empire, he played a lot of Clockwork. And that's when he really impressed me, his Clockwork play in particular. So most likely that will be in the off lane, Brewmaster mid. Probably some standard stuff from Polar. And if you're looking at Illidan's last hero, well, there's a lot of options. There's the Anti-Mage. Spectre would actually be very, very strong here. Spectre would be strong because they have Dazzle and Venge as supports. And it's kind of hard to go aggressive against that. Now, I say that, and now I'm looking at LV. If they did pick a Spectre, I think you can't punish it, actually, because Ogre Magi, fantastic at manning up, very high HP to start off with. And they actually go in Anti-Mage themselves, so going to be standard lanes, I'm guessing, from LV. If I see Anti-Mage, I would pick Spectre right here, personally.
Yep, there's no reason not to.
I mean, the Nago is banned out. They know it's going to be a hard carry. I think you can get away with picking Spectre here. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think the Spectre makes the most sense. You already have 2 heroes in the Clockwork and the Brew that are very...
Or like a Morphling as well. I know that Illidan likes to play Morphling, too.
A Morphling against an Ancient Apparition, though?
That's true. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
It was just like against an Ancient Apparition and potential mana burn as well. Like a lot of his elusiveness before his big items come out is really is mana reliant.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I was just thinking like Illidan heroes, but yeah, totally right. I think Spectre here. I think Spectre would be very good. Maybe even PA. PA couldn't be bad either. A little bit more susceptible to the Centaur.
PA with a Dazzle would be nice. You could just have the Dazzle back to Grave, and of course you could reduce the armor with Weave.
Yeah, PA would be great. I just instinctively thinking Spectre. They got 4 seconds. Let's see what they go with. Maybe they throw a curveball.
Hello!
They do throw a curveball. It's going to be the Lifestealer, which is interesting to me because, 1, it's not that great against Centaur. In fact, Centaur's thought of it as a counter to Lifestealer. 2, if you go Armlet, which almost most Lifestealers do, Ancient Apparition doesn't care about that. In fact, wants you to go for Armlet because it's terrible.
Right.
And then 3, the Anti-Mage can kind of just kite him around by blinking. So I'm a very curious pick from Virtus Pro Polar, but maybe they have something else in mind. The Lifestealer bombs can be very effective with the Brewmaster Blink, can be very effective with the Clockwork Hook. And also, they did change him. You know, I actually haven't played him since they changed him, but you can, like, take over a creep and run around and stuff. I don't exactly know how that works, but interested to see. Yep,
you can take over, you can hide in a creep, and then you can take it over. And oh, yeah, the change is interesting. I messed around with it a little bit. And can't say I know a whole lot about it, but it's going to be interesting to watch. And I want to see if we actually see that come into play at all across this. But like you said, it's a very ballsy pick. They certainly do have the get on top and fight kind of a thing going for them with Mag on the Clockwork and with the Blink Brew.
Mushi is playing support, man. Wait, no, let me check this. Fang. I got to double check because I get this wrong sometimes.
Fang. Yeah, Fang is him.
Is him?
Yep. And Flame's going mid.
So... yeah, and I don't know if you remember from the regular season, but my God, Inflame was an Invoker player, to say the least.
No joke.
He doesn't do very well in lane, I'll say that. And we'll see if it holds true in this game, but he struggles with CS early on, as most Invoker do, just because his low damage. But once he gets out of the laning stage, this guy is a freaking beast, okay? This guy is very, very good on Invoker. And I want to make sure I'm getting this right. Fang is... wait, Fang is ZYF, is he not? I think... oh, God, I'm going to screw this up. I got to go check in previous games.
No, Fang is Mushi.
Is Mushi?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, Yang is ZYF.
Okay. Yeah, so that's very interesting to say the least.
So changing it up, they've got the Blind Mage a rolling here. He is fully covered face. Love the way those look together. We're 13 seconds from the rune spawning. This is not quite do or die time yet. Our upper bracket finals. Polar versus LV Game 2. Winner moves on to the grand finals coming up this evening. Will be a best of 5. Bounty picked up by the carry on top and bottom. The loser will be falling to meet Evil Geniuses in our second series of today. Polar leading the series 1-0. Let's take a look at how these lanes stack up. Going to have FNG back on the Vengeful Spirit, no surprise. Illidan's going to be on the surprise Lifestealer pick. Demon playing on our Dazzle the Brew, taken by DK Phobos into mid lane. And Mag out in the off lane on the Clockwork. As mentioned, it will be Inflame taking over mid position for Mushi this time. Hell of a player on the Invoker. He's going to look to put that on display for us here today. DDC on the Ancient Apparition. Centaur played by Ohio. Anti-Mage going to be farmed by ZYF. And support going to be handled by Mushi.
Yep, and unfortunately for Inflame, he didn't get the best block in the world. So he's going to have a little bit more of a difficult time here. And just watch this. The CSing from early Invoker is just not very good. He's only got 50 damage. He's a ranged hero, so it's a little bit more difficult to get those last hits appropriately. He gets one right there and actually has the wave pushing a little bit in his favor. So we'll have to see how this evolves. But like I said, once it gets out of the early game stage and into the mid game stage, this guy is pretty damn good. But yep, some kind of weird aggressive duel line here coming out from VP Polar. If they can disrupt the farm from Anti-Mage, it's fine, but if they can't, then it's not really that effective. He's up to 4 CS, though. It's not the greatest in the world. Here we go, action onto Mag.
Mag gets the cogs down, might be enough to buy some time, but walking right through them is ZYF as they secure the first blood. And this dual lane looking a little weak. And that was actually really well played by him. He blinked right through the cogs, walked right through the edge of them, and managed to secure the kill, so well played.
Yeah, and good persistence by Mushi as well, just making sure to get that last auto attack in case the anti-mage couldn't get it. And people forget, man, people forget just how freaking good Chilling Touch is early on.
Oh, yeah.
50, okay, it starts out 50, 60, 70, 80. That's how it scales. So 0 to 50 from, you know, just scaling it up once. It's an amazing level 1 spell.
When the support heroes have 400 to 500 HP.
Yeah, it's so good at early engages, man. I can't stress that enough.
We've got FNG camping here in mid. He's got an invis he picked up at the 2-minute mark. And he's going to try to put a hurting on Inflame. Going to walk right on top of him.
They should have spotted this if it was top.
Oh, he's in trouble. Magic Missile leads. Clap right afterwards. The damage output lacking a bit. They got the crit. FNG doesn't have enough. If he maybe could have pursued that and if he had enough mana for a second missile, but instead, just a little bit of harassment, which he'll quickly regen with the points in the quas.
Yep, and he'll get Wex here too after that. That last creep puts a little bit of damage on the DK Phobos, but he'll be fine. And that Wex is important. He actually takes EMP now instead of the Ghost Walk, so wants to be a little bit more aggressive, take the mana away from the Brewmaster. But if he uses that clap before it hits, then it's not really that effective. So here we go, another wraparound from FNG. This should have been spotted 100%, so Inflame, yeah, he will walk back.
Yep. Clarity was there. It's a shame. If FNG had played a little more patient, maybe Clarity before he picked up the rune, at 2 minutes, they probably could have gotten that kill. Instead, he's just wasting a bit of time. Ohio is making his way down and over, though, so that bottom lane all but abandoned. Looks like he's headed into the jungle and spending some time in mid to help make sure things are safe.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm very curious to see how they utilize this Snake's pick. I really feel like the best way to play him is when you have good initiators like Quap or Clockwork and just utilizing the infest bombs more. Because especially, like I said, he cannot go for armlet. It's a big mistake if he does. I really think. Like, the AA Blast will just completely nullify that and make it worse. So, yeah, if he's going to go for a build, it looks like it's going to be a Midas into phase. Maybe just drums and just skip the armlet, go for a Basher after that or something.
I'm like you. I want to see what they expect to get out of him. And, you know, it wasn't all that long ago that Lifestealer, not just up, hold on, 4-minute room, snagged up by Ohio at bottom. Double damage picked up there. A little bit of action as the cogs went down. Mag actually caught with the Chilling Touch. Is he going to be able to make it? He will. Ohio was trapped inside the cogs. So everyone makes it away. The bounty was picked up by Ohio that time, and he's sitting at level 2.5, not even 2.5, so he is struggling quite a bit. He and Mushi are actually the 2 lowest levels on the map. Actually, never mind. Mag's pretty...
Yeah.
He's getting close to dinging 3. But so is FNG. Yeah, he's actually the lowest on the map right now.
And Dazzle's getting actually some really good farm himself as a result of these kind of static lanes. He's just farming up with a double damage. He's going to be level 4 now at about 4.5 minutes, which is very, very good for your Dazzle. Yep, there he dings right now, puts a point in grave. Going to do some stacking and just overall farming. I mean, Lifestealer is completely free farming. No one even close into his lane. Actually, hold that thought. Centaur TP's back down to get a little bit of experience. But he's got to be careful because with these super high levels on Illidan, he might not kill him in one go, but he can dwindle him down once enough with the some harassment from Open Wound and just auto attacks so that the next time he does it, there's a chance for a kill.
Yep, Demon makes his way back in the lane to be a little bit more of a threat. FNG, or excuse me, Mushi spending his time now in mid, just helping to secure this lane a little bit up at top. That's a dual lane with DDC right on top of ZYF. And FNG hiding out in the Roche pit will go ahead and drop himself a ward down. So we're 5.5 minutes in. We got 1 kill on the board, and that belongs to LV. That came very early on. Since then, it's been quiet. And overall efficiency is telling us Polar's coming out ahead here, believe it or not. They're at about a 1,300 gold lead over top of LV, and their experience is actually favoring them as well.
Well, look at where that is. Look at the mid matchup, 32-17 to 11-2. This Invoker is getting absolutely dominated as far as CS is concerned, which is really, really bad. I talked about this. There's an EMP combo with the Tornado. It doesn't hit. He doesn't time it correctly. The split comes out. I don't think the split's actually going to do anything, but, well, I guess that was a win for LV, even though he misplayed right there.
Definitely a win for LV. Inflame's going to get a haste rune here as well. And like you said, they mistimed it, but they still got the split, forced the split out, and nothing came of it. I'm actually surprised he split there. He had time to consider it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It was very scary. He was scared that if he doesn't get it off, he loses all his mana. And with the cold snap and damage from Ogre, he might die. But it's a tough call to make.
We got 3 heading up towards top. They're taking their time, thinking about putting a dive on the mag. He's almost level 5. And they may decide to wrap around and gank, and that's going to be the
Dire's
call.
bottom tower is under attack.
Courier, actually not that far away from being spotted. They may catch it on the return if they... Nope, never mind. I thought they might try to do something cute here in mid. Mag is just to the north of them.
Ooh, it's actually slowed down.
Yeah. This is what I thought they were going to go for.
They're both melee heroes. They can't.
And now here in mid, we're going to have another Tornado EMP. TK Phobos in trouble, wrapped around. And down he goes without split to rely on. Massive TPs are coming in. They want to get at least 1 return kill. Ohio eats the magic missile. Mag's there, doesn't have hook though. And FNG did have enough mana for another magic missile, but didn't want to pursue it out.
Yep.
So that's a free one, and honestly, they gave up. That's 2 TP scrolls worth of gold wasted. It doesn't sound like much, but 200 gold is 200 gold. And time wasted coming to mid.
That time wasted. Those are really nice. You never see it's like full effect. Like it's hard to actually value the Ice Vortex, but that potentially saved the Centaur as well, slowing them down by 20%. Pretty damn good spell, and freeing up some space for the Anti-Mage. Again, though, this deficit between the Invoker and the Panda is so large, man.
Illidan in some trouble, and brought down, just hanging around, and they got the drop on him and the deny. That's actually a pretty big deal. He had been free farming for so long. 8-minute rune spawn. That's a bounty rune picked up by 1, and I didn't see... I'm not sure what it was for the top rune, but at any rate, 3-0 LV. Leads, and we'll see if that gold lead is cut down. Not really. I mean, Polar again is just has been so much more efficient in mid and bottom lane that despite giving up first blood plus 2 additional kills, they're managing to maintain an efficiency lead.
Well, DK Phobos taking a lot more auto attack harass. He does have a 15 stick charge, so if even if he does get mana burned, I'm pretty sure with that charge is up, he can get his primal split off, so he doesn't have to worry too much anymore. But yeah, the deficit's still there. Like, Invoker's got okay items at this juncture just because of the 1 kill he has, but other than that, man, this is not good. This is why I said, man, he's not the best like mid laner as far as getting CS, but once he transitions, it's pretty impressive. But 21 CS, not where you want to be at 9 minutes.
Not quite. 66 for Illidan, 65 for ZYF. So we haven't been talking a whole lot about him, but he's on a great pace to have Tread's Battle Fury up, and I do mean quickly. If he continues on with this. He's not getting a ton of help with stacks or anything else, but he's still sitting where he needs to be. However, this is against a Midas Lifestealer.
Yeah, but again, the point still stands. I thought it was very surprising they picked Lifestealer into an Anti-Mage anyway, just because Anti-Mage has a natural way to kite him out with this very low cooldown blink. That's why I say I really think that, after he gets his next core item, which is probably going to be like drums into, maybe he goes the, well, if he's in a race car build, I don't know why he went Tread, so maybe drums into Basher like I was alluding to earlier. But then start getting active with these hooks, with the Nakes bombs. Maybe once Brewmaster gets its blink, you start getting active with that as well. So we'll see if Polar wants to do some kind of timing thing with their blinks.
Well, something, and just to put this out there, I remember going back a couple of years ago.
Centaur ulti defensively? Yep, defensively against Illidan.
Yep. A few years ago, something that used to occasionally see, it was not common at all, but in terms of if you wanted to play a ganking Lifestealer kind of an approach against, say, a Phantom Lancer against an Anti-Mage, you used to see these weird Orchid Malevolence builds on Lifestealer. Remember that?
Yeah.
And that's something that, again, we've seen them step out of the box a couple of times and do so successfully. Something they could have in mind here. You have 2 excellent ways to jump on top of the Anti-Mage if you get some kind of an Orchid, and it looks like he's actually picked up a Helm of Iron, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this. Like, again, I guess the Ice Blast is just not that optimal. I mean, it's still a good item. It provides nice armor.
Courier! He's chasing it down.
Mushi, no.
Mushi diving for the Courier. Now has the TP away, and will be able to do so. He had a haste and was trying to bring down the terrified little bunny, but they managed to get it back home to safety.
That's scary, man. Even those TPs like that against the Clockwork, if he was like anywhere in the vicinity, he just cancels that and kills you. Could have been a disaster, but he does get out. He does get out okay.
Let's take a look at Centaur, see how he's doing. He's getting close to his blink, so he's bounced back admirably. How's net worth looking? across the board. Illidan is ahead by about 600 gold, which is what you would expect given how quickly his Midas came out. Anti-Mage will, of course, explode once that Battle Fury is complete. Does he have something on the courier on the way to him? He certainly does. Yep, there was his broadsword, so just to claim more away. He only needs about another 900 gold, so you're talking a 14-minute Battle Fury trend.
Yeah, I actually like what Illidan did that one game. I did not remember that the broadsword can be picked up in the side shot. So you actually save yourself a lot of time by picking up the Claymore first, and then picking up the 1,200 gold broadsword from the side shop. It actually saves you about a good 30 seconds. And even if the courier is in use, it could save you more time than that. So
Mag trying a little trickeration, hoping to find someone coming out with intent to farm this lane. And he's hanging by himself for now. Ohio still waiting patiently on the blink. Speaking of blink, how about one for the brew? Done for Phobos. And this is going to allow them to begin to get active with the Lifestealer if they choose. And I think they should choose. I think they need to. Getting into a farm war, Midas is nice on Lifestealer, but getting into a farm war with an Anti-Mage is going to have a very quick Treads Battle Fury, not usually going to set you up for a position for success.
Yeah, and he actually pops his stick, so he used all his charges for full mana, uses the invis, and they want to get a kill on this Anti-Mage, it looks like. But let's see, he's going to take this creep, probably back off into the... No, he's going to go forward. We'll see. They can actually probably get this kill, or no, he blinks away. Okay, very unfortunate.
Radiant's top tower
They're
thinking
about trying to pursue this out. They at least want to interrupt him.
I mean, this is really hard. This is really hard to do. Like, yeah, I don't know if you can actually do this unless he really screws up. He's on strength tread, so he has 1 value point to spell shield. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yep, he'll make it back to farming. Here in mid, LV beginning to hem up. This is going to be a very defensive posture from them for a while. That's an armlet up at 13 minutes. Armlet treads Midas. 13 minutes in, not shabby.
Yeah, very. I mean, look at Illidan's farming capabilities are ridiculous. I have to give him that. I mean, he's got more fun than the Anti-Mage who can blink around, has the, well, I guess they both have Quelling Blades, but yeah, it's very good stuff. I just don't know if the armlet is the item. Again, like once he gets Ice Blasted, he can't really use it because he's just going to constantly lower and lower his HP, and it doesn't go up, so.
Now, blink on Centaur's up now. And Illidan. Or not Illidan, excuse me. ZYF passing through mid. See an Anti-Mage anymore. I just want to call him Illidan or Black, one of the two. But, attempted initiation here. That's actually blinked away very, very adeptly by DK Phobos. Got away from the EMP and the Tornado, most importantly, with the blink. And looks like they're going to wait out the 14-minute room. We should see a clash here in mid, I think, though. It's going to be a bounty. It's a haste at bottom.
Well, he is infested in Mac now for quite some time. Mac's just being spotted out, though, by this one creep just following him. So the jig is up, dude. You are spotted.
Look, Mac's pinging it.
Well, they even have a rune down here, too, to see him pick up this haste. And I suspect they actually, yeah, oh, this could be bad. This could be really bad for Polar.
He's going to come on out, try to go to work. EMP is there. There's going to be the Ice Blast. And Illidan's still doing work. However, they did lose Mag. Fair amount of damage done, but they're going to lose Illidan, I think, by the time all is said and done. Demon's there with the Grave. Good timing on it that time. Still, the stuns and the lockdown are just a little too intense. And Illidan actually ate a mana boy. He's going to turn around, goes to work in Ohio, gets 1 kill, does end up taking the spill. It's 2 for 1. As Mag was spotted, Demon hemmed up. That's going to be 3 for 1. And LV has him on the ropes. Oh, they actually caught CYF playing so greedy. That's such a big kill. Didn't expect him to follow through, and VP actually showing some cojones and following through into that part. There's a hook. They're going to manage to go ahead and grab Mushi. Ice Blast on the way. And here comes DK Phobos. They got him. Mag is in danger of shattering. Yep, he will shatter. So an unbelievable exchange back and forth. That kill, though, on the Anti-Mage cannot be underestimated. That completely kept VP in this early game.
It might not seem like a big deal, but FNG was actually super fast with a stun. Because when you're walking in, it's nighttime, you don't exactly know the position of the hero. You don't even know if he's there in the first place.
Yep.
And to just respond that quickly, and he could have misclicked too, because they're right on top of each other with the creep. And he just did it super fast and super deliberate. And I know it seems like a small thing, but it's actually a huge thing. Someone could easily just be too slow. And that wouldn't be a bad play to miss that stun. It was just a fantastic play for him to hit it, if that makes any sense at all.
No, it does.
And yeah, so I think that was actually a very good play by FNG.
3-7. Polar losing a couple, lost Illidan, but they did manage to get a couple of return kills. And FNG loses all of his mana and half his health. Yeah, it is. Just miserable.
Ooh, there's a smoke here coming out from LV right after that. Might not expect it because it was right after some spells were used for Invoker, so maybe they're thinking he just backs up and farms with that EMP tornado down, but nope, they're looking for aggression.
Mag is nearby.
Ooh.
And he's going to end up popping it. He's got to react quickly and did not. Here comes Phobos. Not going to go in. Right call to make.
Yeah, unfortunately, if he just maybe spams the cogs right before that, hooks to a teammate, he lives, but little slow on the trigger there.
Middle tower
Illusion here from Polar actually spotted the courier that chased it back.
Dire's structures are fortified.
But for now,
Dire's top tower
LV, and that's actually a really important kill. Like Clockwork is going to be essential to making this Lifestealer pick work. And the up actually going to have a stampede. Is that in mid? It is. They managed to find a kill on Mushi. Ice Blast is on the mark. Here comes ZYF. And in flame now. Caught out after the split. He's going to end up dropping. So Polar getting a couple on the board themselves. And they should be able to clear out in time to stay safe.
Well, very good exchange there, obviously, for VP Polar. And when the Ice Blast isn't on heroes, then you can still constantly get healed up from Demon as well. Or from the Dazzle, I should say. And I'm still so very impressed. I mean, look at Illidan. He's up against the very early Treads Battle Fury of the Anti-Mage, and he's actually still leading, still winning with that Midas. And got another 2,100 gold up under his belt. We'll see what he wants to go for, but the split is down. So after this, I imagine they just back up, not looking for any more fight.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Now, picking off the Invoker, very, very important in its own right. It's going to be a big smoke out of Polar. And they're going to double back, so this is a fake back. This should have been spotted, actually.
Yeah, they were right on top of a ward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're backing up. They know for sure.
Yep.
Even the Anti-Mage is hiding in the jungle.
Oh, well, they actually smoked. They weren't backing up to play defensively. They're backing up to try and catch them. Tornado does catch FNG. He's left out in no man's land. And there's going to be the hook in. They get in flame. Phobos is right there. Phobos still needs 30 seconds for his ulti. That's a big trade for Polar. They'll be happy with that. Illidan being kited out a bit here. Did get hit with the Ice Blast that time. And Mushi trying to lose him in the trees. Gets off the stun. Behind that, there's going to be a Mana Void. And ZYF coming in to clean house. There's a stampede. Perhaps defensively to try to get them back to safety. Ends up being a 2 for 2. Still should be a beneficial trade for Polar as they brought down In Flame as well as the Ancient Apparition and gave away their 2 supports in exchange.
Well, there's a Basher coming out for the Lifestealer. Very fantastic pickup. I like his item progressions generally. I didn't like the armlet too much, but it still provides nice armor. It still gives you some good armor. And when the Ancient Apparition doesn't have an Ags and isn't going to have it for quite some time, it's not the biggest deal in the world. It's not the end of the world. It is just a little awkward. But speaking of Ancient Apparition, did go for the Force Staff instead of rushing that Ag, speaking of, which is great against, obviously, Clockwork, being able to get yourself and allies out of the cogs and just trying to kite the Lifesteal a little bit more, but it's not enough. When Lifesteal has the open wounds on you, chases you down, the Force Staff is just not enough. They need Ghost Scepters, too.
Yasha done on ZYF. He's about 700 gold away from being able to pick up his ultimate orb as well. So about another 1,400 until he has his Manta style done. And LV is continuing to keep the aggression up as they're moving with Inflame out in front under cover of Ghostwalk. And let's see, are they actually going to engage this? Yeah, there's going to be a split. They're going to try to turn this around. Ohio got caught with the rock. He got Force Staff, hoping to find some safety in the trees. Not going to be the case. Now here comes Mushi. Demon's going to be caught with a stun. Here comes Illidan. And that's another big win for Polar. And I'll tell you, man, this is deja vu all over again. Polar, in just about every game they've played here at D2L, has found themselves maybe with a very narrow draft, maybe the early lane phase doesn't go as well as it could have. Maybe they lose a couple of big fights. But about this time, 20, 30 minutes in, their execution goes through the roof. Their team fights really take off. And they're about to take a tier 2. And there's going to be a swap. And they managed to get the Ancient Apparition as well.
God, this Panda, and he's almost got a BKB at the same time. So these combinations from Inflame are going to do next to nothing. Still doesn't have his Orchid. This is a very, very slow Orchids coming out from this Invoker. All goes back to that, just how dominated he got in the mid lane. A little bit of help from FNG at the start, but it was pretty much a 1v1. Just, I mentioned this about Inflame. He's a very good hero, he's a very good player in team fights, but kind of struggles a little bit in the mid lane. Didn't have anywhere near the CS he needed to have.
And Mag Smokes himself and no one
Radiant's
else.
bottom tower
Actually,
is under
he's got
attack.
one. Oh, if they catch in flame, and they will. Oh, he's a little slow. Illidan nonetheless manages to come out. He actually hooks right into the back of Illidan, and no dust.
Mag should definitely have dust.
I totally agree.
And that's a hero, if any, that needs to carry it.
That was actually just kind of a Benny Hill moment there. Because he was slow on the cogs, then he came down, Illidan came out, but then he hooked right into his back. Just not good communication, which really is surprising, because for the most part, that's what's really made VP shine here in Vegas.
And the Anti-Mage does pick up the Manta style. But, yeah, I don't know. The damage coming up from VP Polar is so strong. Oh, what I was going to say is a scary thing is that how much damage that Ogre took with just a medallion from the Pandas. Imagine you have that with negative armor of Weave, the medallion, and not the Pandas, but the actual Lifestealer here, who's hitting like a truck right now. He's hitting for 200 without armlet activated, so, and that's without negative armor or anything like that.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Now they're going to be able to go take a Roche pretty much at leisure if they can get a pick. And VP ready to go fight. I mean, if there's any team in this field that I think just knows their identity and knows what they want to accomplish on the map in a given game, it's VP. They draft these lineups where we can pick holes in them and we can theory craft and do the message board nonsense and be like, well, you just answer X with Y and Y with Z and then GG. But they don't care. They just come out, play their game, and play it damn well. And LV's getting a lesson in that right now. They're going to go ahead and initiate. There's going to be the split. The EMP's late. Stampede is used 100% defensively. Everyone runs back, and they just concede the Tier 2. Anti-Mage, in the meantime, though, manages to take the Tier 2 in the top lane, so not a complete loss by any stretch.
No, that's actually a big win for LV. I mean, that's specifically one of the biggest reasons why you pick Centaur against Brewmaster in general, just to be able to for that disengage. And they were able to trade the Panda split and then 2 towers for themselves. So, yeah, a bit of a win there for LV.
Well, look at this. They're trying. They know that he's going to be retreating. They don't suspect he TP'd out. They're going to try to catch him. And they will. Going to be quick. Got him with the stun. Do they have to follow up? There's the Manta. He's going to be able to blink at least once, and that'll be enough to get him to safety. And at least scaring the hell out of him, if nothing else.
Yep, Abyssal Blade, my God. He is so farmed. Abyssal Blade picked up on the Lifestealer, and he's literally neck and neck, the same exact farm as the Anti-Mage, but that's an Anti-Mage, man. This is the hero that wants to be comfortably, you know, 4,000 net worth more than the next highest.
Yep.
To kind of feel an even keel, but yeah, that's pretty scary.
Well, they got a way to lock him down now. They just got to get on top of him with the right heroes.
Well, that's what the Infest Bomb's for.
Yep.
Throw him onto that Brewmaster, and you can actually get him down from full to nothing in a matter of 2 seconds.
They're going to go fight this. Centaur is quite low health, and they spotted that with a rocket. I think that's one reason they're willing to go. Tornado EMP Ice Blast is no joke, though, and Illidan, yeah, he's going to have to play bravely. And he's going to maybe turn back around and go to work here. This does not feel like a good time for LV to engage, especially since the Ice Blast has already been spent and everyone is healed. Yep, down it goes very quickly. And Illidan is living large. And they may just go run down mid lane. Like the creeps are pushed, they may just say hell with it. We're going to go high ground and try to, well, I don't know, they can't. ZYF is doing a phenomenal job on the Anti-Mage of being where he needs to be to keep VP from getting too froggy on the other side of the river.
Yep, he has no problem. Here come the Mass TPs. All right, Mass TPs, he needs to back up and farm, and LV needs to go look for a kill right now. This is their opening. They know that these two cannot be there. So it's going to be a 4-on-3 or even a 5-on-3 if the Anti-Mage wants to join in. They need to go for something right now.
Illidan's in the back pocket of Phobos.
Yeah, they should farm this out. They should be, okay, they should push this out right now with Inflame. They should be bringing a smoke onto somebody. And they should be going to fight, but it doesn't look like they're going to do it. I thought that was their time to capitalize. They're going bottom.
Got
okay,
it.
There we go.
Got FNG. Very well played. Got him with the Ice Blast, and basically just good communication. Pinged where he thought he was going to be, and so he was. Got him with the stomp and so on. Not the highest priority kill, but a kill's a kill. And Phobos and Illidan are going headhunting. They want to find Anti-Mage. And right now they're nowhere near him as they've rotated him down into the enemy jungle. And they're doing a great job of keeping him protected and safe, or at the very least split out so wide that he's not under threat.
Yep, Talisman of Evasion coming out for ZYF, which is going to be good, for obviously, against the Lifestealer in particular. Oh, speaking of Lifestealer, the bomb comes out onto the poor Ancient Apparition.
And Lifestealer still has his Aegis. He's going to go try to steal this stack. And this is an okay stack, 2 stack. But still, worth taking down at bottom. ZYF trying to put some pressure onto the tower. He's got a whole team around him, and I think VP suspects that's where they are. As no, they're going to move one there. Mag is going to what's moving along the ridgeline there, and is likely to end up dead. Here comes Phobos. No, 2-man clap. Mag still alive, barely trying to bottle himself back up into relevancy. There's going to be a defensive stampede. In the meantime, ZYF does clear up the tier 2. There's a hook. Mag finds him, goes fishing in the trees, and found him a winner. So they lose their tier 2, but they do manage to get a kill onto the Centaur.
Yeah, and a really important rocket flare before that too, because if he doesn't hit that, he gives him enough time to blink away, and he wouldn't get that hook off. So very nicely played by Mag.
Hilden, anticipating a butterfly build, is going with a Demon Edge. I would imagine that's going to become an MKB.
Yep, definitely. Very smart pickup here.
However, ZYF is still having his run of the shop. He is just pressuring towers anywhere he cares to. And poor Mag could be in trouble here. Loses all of his mana. There's a mana void. He's going to blink through, try to find the kill. Now doubles back as he earns up. Here comes Mushi in to try to help. And they have got to account for this better. In the meantime, I guess they're just going to go for their own here. Age is still up for 2 minutes, and they know they can push faster with their Lifestealer. He's just hitting harder. There's going to be the swap, and poor Mushi. Mushi brought down in a hustle. They're going to get one set of racks, and yeah, they have to come back and fight. Hilden's going to be silenced. There's a stomp to follow. Beautiful grave, though, going to keep him up. There's a nice clap, and the split's on the way. Illidan, again, with an Aegis suspend, is happy to see him burn. He'll be back up full health in just a few seconds. Stampede sends him running for the fountain, and I don't think Illidan's going to overinvest much. Inflamed, still in some trouble, maybe not able to QQ walk. Illidan should be able to finish this off, I think. They've got ZYF coming from the south. And they spot him. Up, there's a nice stomp. Got DK Phobos. Deafening blast. Knocks them back. BKB back off cooldown. ZYF not really willing to commit to a fight. I think Polar's hanging around too long. I think they need to make up their mind. Either go fight or leave.
Well, Illidan's still full everything. Still has his Abyssal up. Still gets the melee racks. ZYF, he wants to try to find an opening, but he's got to be very careful about blinking into all of this, because if he blinks in and gets Abyssal immediately, he's dead.
Oh, fake back. Love it. Let's see if they can catch someone. They're going to try to hope for ZYF.
There's the infest.
Oh, they might suspect. They just shot. I just heard him. Phobos spotted. Here we go. There was a hook in. They get the Ancient Apparition. They get Fang. And it looks like, yeah, Inflamed didn't even want a part of it. I thought he was going to swoop in from the south, trying to make something happen. We see the ping. Ping, ping on this top tier 3. Here we go. Has ZYF run out of time. He only needs another 200 gold now, but he'll have his butterfly.
Ooh, nice try there by FNG. He tried to swap his own teammate to get in a little bit closer range to stun the Centaur, but the damage is done. He used that ulti defensively. How do they take this next fight? They can't without the Centaur ulti.
Nope. Invoker's going to have Tornado EMP. Stampede 60 seconds off. Butterfly is done.
Well, this is their one shot. They need a nice ice blast. Here we go. It will not connect.
Oh, brutal. Only got Phobos.
Oh, it disconnects Phobos. Okay.
Well, Phobos has split up. Like right now, will he have the mana after? Yeah, he will. There's the BKB. They commit. They go in on Illidan. FNG right there on top of it, though. And ZYF has to blink away. Oh, he thought about it, thought better of it. And are they going to reset here? Think so. Yep, they're going to go ahead and take their win, as they should. Full set of racks down in mid, and the pace of the game 100% on board.
I like how VP is constantly keeping aggression. You know, we see from other teams that they take a win. What we'll probably see from them, back up, go heal. You have enough money for your MKB on the Lifestealer, but what I've seen from them is they back up, they reset, and they just go.
Yep.
Whereas where other teams will kind of meander around.
They want everyone at full health, full mana. There's got to be 3 trips back to the fountain.
Yeah, let's gank somebody. No, let's wait for next Roche. No, let's get this. Let's get that. Let me get this next item. They're a lot more deliberate.
Swap. Oh, he got him. Beautiful play. Can they chase him down? No. The Stampede's going to be enough to get him back to safety. FNG survives the mana void behind that ice blast. Not going to matter, as he's going to end up getting the kill with it alone. So close to being a gorgeous play. And I was surprised that ZYF just stood there. He had to know something like that was coming. When Avenge just stands and right-clicks you as an anti-mage and dares you to come after him. Swapped him into the Abyssal, but the Stampede on point from Ohio.
Yeah, very, very close. And a nice Nice thought right there. Kind of similar to what they did last game with the, actually action up top. DK Phobos taking a little bit of damage, but he actually almost has this Assault Cuirass as well. So, I know he's a little bit of ways off, actually. Mid lane.
Illidan maybe in trouble. Oh, great play, great chance for LV. As he was way overextended, they laid in wait and waited till they had all the personnel they needed to guarantee that kill, and they got it. And that's how big is that streak? Actually only 473. Anti-Mage, though, is the beneficiary of it, though.
Aghanim Scepter up from Mag, so he can constantly cast those ultis. And I like the decision, too, from Anti-Mage to... I know he went for a fast MKB afterwards to counteract that, and that sucks. But I don't think Hart really does anything against a Lifestealer. Just stacking HP. Lifestealer doesn't care about that because he's dealing a damage of your he's dealing damage in a percentage of your health. So
right.
I think it was a smarter decision for ZYF to go for this Battlefield. Looks like he's going to go for a Basher or an MKB of his own. And we'll have to see. Or is that going to be a Basher?
I think it's going to be a Basher.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. He doesn't need an MKB.
Yep. Well, FNG gets eyes on Ohio up at top. Stampede used once again, swaps him back. And the hook was actually off from Mag. He's got 10 seconds until it's back up. Nope, never mind. Thought he might cut right and try to pursue, but going to play it safe instead. Roche is going to be back up in about 35 seconds, give or take. And that's likely to be the next big spot of engagement. Got him. Mag jumps him. FNG's there, doesn't have a swap, did have a magic missile. There's the dust, but there's no one coming. So that time he had dust on him, but might have even been a waste of dust. There was just no way they were gonna catch up with him.
Well, a little bit of space created, I suppose, in trying to get the kill, but of course he couldn't for the Aghanim Scepter is up on Clockwork, and he constantly can just spam out those ultis. It's very, very strong. And what's Demon up to? He's got the same items he did, I think, last game. Mana Boots are very, very good here, too, against the EMP. That's one thing to keep in mind. Not even EMP, but just the Mana Burn from Anti-Mage himself.
No mech up. He had that up by this time last game, I think.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But nonetheless, got the Medallion and doing the job with Medallion and Weave. LV's in a position to contest. There's going to be a Tornado EMP. That's going to get at least 2. Illidan just wants to go to Roshan and thinks better of it now that he's hit with the Ice Blast. This is non-sceptered, so they're going to be able to back off, reset, and it's not going to be that crippling.
Well, DK Phobos is completely out of mana, though. Has to wait 10 more seconds for the Arcane Boots to be up from Demon. Uses his stick. Okay, that might put him over the edge to get 2 spells. Probably just 1. Yeah, so he does have to be a little bit careful about not casting his clap. I think he only has 1 spell.
They got eyes on him. They're going to come in. There's going to be the Stampede. Ohio managed to get the jump on Mag. FNG with a swap, though. Trying to make a run for it. He's going to be blown up with a Mana Void. Mag is in trouble as well, being pursued by Mushi. And Illidan actually caught him from behind. Another good Force Staff bailed him out. And Yang with a double kill. Not Yang. How about ZYF? Illidan still doing work, however. It's a 2-for-1 thus far. There's the grave on Illidan. Only going to buy so much time. He's trying to heal up, doesn't matter. They got him with the Cold Feet proc, and behind that, Inflame. Still up and chasing DK Phobos, who used his split. Gigantic win that time for LV. And they're going to be able to fall back in a 2-for-4 situation and take this Roshan pretty easily. 4-staff
gaming here for LV. It's been so strong. And just buying more time for the blink to come up for Anti-Mage. We saw 3 4-staffs that fight. 1 from Inflame on the Invoker. So the Centaur has one as well. And of course, the Ancient Apparition, who picked us up very early on as well. I think Ogre's going to get one too.
He should.
Yeah, it's going to be very effective. And the Aegis goes on to the Anti-Mage, of course. LV trickling themselves back into this game.
We're at 35 minutes in. And this one looked to be in Polar's favor, but true to form, has swung in the other direction. Just seems to have been really the way things have played out so much here in this D2L playoff. Their lead is not evaporated completely, but it is certainly taken a pretty big hit. And the experience, wow, 10,000 experience swing overall, so big jump up in levels there for LV.
Well, ZYF putting some pressure onto Mag, but couldn't find the better position to get those auto attacks off quickly.
Those illusions so obnoxious, burning your mana. And LV liking to get aggressive themselves. There's another smoke from them. They're going to move. Looks like towards the north. It's Phobos who's up there by his lonesome for the moment. We'll see if VP has any other personnel on track to hook up with him.
Ooh, look at this. ZYF going aggressively.
They don't have the stuns. Oh, Mag missed with the hook.
Kind of awkward.
Yep.
I mean, there's not really a way to kind of, he has to like hook and then run forward to the right and then push him back with cogs. That actually would have worked. Kind of unfortunate he missed that.
I'll tell you, Mag, it's 1,000 years away. Mag needs a hex. He does. I'm serious.
Yeah, he's not going to get that this game.
Yeah. Unless it goes a million years.
Which it could. Actually,
Yeah.
it could. This is anti-mage we're talking about here.
FNG trying to get cute. Throws out the Wave of Terror. Rocket gets eyes on Inflame. They know where they are. Hook shot missed. Mag has come up empty a couple of times now. And there's going to be a swap. That was on the Inflame. Do they have Dust? They do not. BKB. Phobos looking for a target. What a fire drill. VP, couple of missed opportunities there. Missed hook. No follow through on the swap. And really not true to what we've seen out of them so far in this tournament. Usually they're on point.
Well, LV's stepping up their game, and I know it constantly you want to see the Centaur ulti used aggressively, but these defensive Centaur ultis have actually been game or life-saving for many of these heroes on LV.
Anti-Mage forcing big reaction to bottom. He's almost got this tier 3 bottom whittled down. He just finished an Abyssal Blade of his own, too.
All Centaurs in trouble in mid. Can he get the blink? He can.
Very nice. Polar, a little slow to execute now, and now they're going to run right up the, wow! He's just right there. Now he uses the Abyssal backwards, and they do manage to bring him down. Phobos Grave, now they're going to get the split. Can they get him? They do. Got him. Managing to take the Aegis off of him. Abyssal and Four Staff Gaming is the name of the game. He's going to manta out of that stun, trying to make a run for it. Behind that, there's a Tornado EMP. Ohio hits a beautiful two-man stomp. Can they follow it up? Demon Graves himself. Ohio's up on the high ground. They're going to run right into each other again. And Ohio's got him. He'll be able to blink like, yeah, doesn't even have to. Stampede secures the kill. That's a 2-for-1. I guess 2-for-1 plus Aegis. Make it 3-for-1 plus Aegis as a godlike ZYF indeed. And this one is beginning to look like it may have turned a bit. Illidan in great shape most of the game, is now one full butterfly behind the behind CYF. With the Aegis emptied out of his inventory, he does have a chance to go full 6 slots, but definitely going to go full high ground.
ZYF is just being a monster this game, man. The amount of farm and how grim it looked for him to still keep his composure, do some split pushing when he needed to force them back to buy more time for his team. Just a fantastic play, and just the way that he's been blinking in and knowing when to take the engagements has been really smart for him. And also, I think Ohio's been playing Centaur phenomenally. Like I mentioned, you don't want to particularly have defensive ultis all the time, but it's worked almost every single time this game.
Illusion.
Tell you, you can feel the tension outside. We can hear the chatter.
Yeah.
All the way back in here. These teams super focused on this moment. And thankfully, the network and connectivity issues we had yesterday seem to at least 90% be shored up. A little bit of ping fluctuation here and there, but the report I get from the stage is that the players are much happier with the way things are today. Polar back on the aggressive, moving into the jungle. What's the prognosis for the late game here, Trout?
For VP Polar?
Yep, for Lifestealer versus Anti-Mage in particular.
Well, it's hard, again, because we're seeing that moment where he just gets kited out too easily. And now with the Abyssal onto the Anti-Mage, he doesn't have to be scared of him anymore. He will win that 1v1 fight because he has more agility, he has which makes stronger illusions. Lifestealer can't really have time to guess which one is correct, and if he guesses incorrectly, he just loses engagement. So Lifestealer has to find other heroes to fight. He can't fight the Anti-Mage anymore. He has to pick off the AA. He has to Abyssal the Invoker, kill him from full to nothing. His engagements should be on different heroes now, outside of the Anti-Mage.
ZYF split pushing. Looks like they just want to go for a trade. There's a silence on the DK Phobos. And ZYF taking racks all on his own. There's going to be, the hook once again off. There's the infest out. There's going to be a Stampede used defensively. Ice Blast on the money. Got 3, including Illidan. And now ZYF ready to come back into things. He's Alacrity. There's going to be the Abyssal. They don't have the damage. Beautiful stomp. Gray very preemptive on the Illidan, but still doing its job, I suppose. Ohio drops. CYF, though, helping to clean house. Oh, wow! Are they going to get him? They do manage to lock down Illidan, and yes! They do bring down CYF. Buyback on both he and Ohio, though. This is 4 down in exchange for 3. And they're going to try to track down Phobos. They should be able to get him, but it did cost a couple of buybacks at that. And ZYF now there. That's a full 5-man wipe, but again,
It was an act of charity.
it did cost a couple of buybacks. And speaking of buybacks, buybacks are lacking across the board for Polar. And if LV realizes this, they're just going to run at the base. And I think, yeah, that's what they're doing right now.
Well, they won't have creep support, unfortunately, unless they go straight to bottom. And actually, yeah, with that Rax down, it is pushing up there. So by the time those creeps reach bottom, is it going to be close enough? They need to kind of push that out, I think, a little bit. I don't think it's quite there yet. We'll see. Yeah, they still have backdoor. He still hits through backdoor protection. My God. And yeah, he cuts right through it.
They get the tier 3. No buyback on the lifestealer yet.
Still backdoor protection, though, and he has that misses. Nope, it should kick in right about now, though. Yeah, there he goes. No more backdoor protection.
That alacrity, pretty good, huh? And there's going to be a swap. Quick blink and stampede, though. Excellent communication. And they do catch in flame from behind. They make it him as a kill. Nope. 4 staff. Mushi finished his not long ago. Still trying to pursue them out.
Well, Inflame has a ton of gold to spend, man. He's been saving up for quite some time. He's up to 5,700. You know, he had such a terrible start. He's got 120 CS.
BKB.
Yeah, BKB for him. He's got 120 CS at 42 minutes. But, man, like it's I said this about this guy. He's not that great of a mid player, honestly. But once he gets in the mid game to late game, just his spell casting is quite impressive. And he's bumped his score up to 6 and 2 and 13.
As a laner, he's all right. As a player, he's a hell of one.
Yeah.
Illidan down here with Demon. And beginning to feel like it's going. Oh, hang on. We have a hook. Are they going to be able to get the AA? Not quite. DDC still alive, at least for the moment. FNG trying to get on top of it. Beautiful deafening blast, though. And at bottom, we're going to have an engagement as well. Demon chopped down by ZYF. The rest of them are there. There's going to be a buyback. This is going to be on Demon. Racks are cleared out. We got racks down on both sides at this point. And ZYF going to work on the racks here. Everyone converging now on this point. Just heard the hook. Looks like he hit his own hero. And Cogs are there. He still has a ton of mana. It doesn't matter. Brewmaster very early split as he splits behind the entire team, and he's being kited. If they can get ZYF, it may be worth it. Nope. Too quick on the blink. They may be able to stun him. They've got to figure out some way to do something. The hook again off from Mag. Mag has really struggled. Deafening blast barely caught Mag from behind Ohio. Coming back in. There we go. There's going to be a 2-man stomp. FNG swaps out Phobos. Huge ice blast coming from a mile away. Gets the shatter onto the Brewmaster. And GG.
Oh my God, man. I did not expect this. A fantastic bounce back from LV Gaming.
LV. Look at that. Huge gold swing by the time all was said and done. I do mean huge. 20,000 plus overall gold swing as LV snatches one. Snatches a victory and keeps their run here in the upper bracket alive. What a series and what a game, and just can't wait to see what these two teams have in store for us looking ahead. Key performers throughout this. Phobos actually had a wonderful game, even though he felt a little impotent down the stretch. He was just kited so efficiently. 11, 3, and 6 for him, so great showing out of him. FNG, not quite as good of a game as he had before. 0 and 8 for him. 13 and 2, obviously, on ZYF's Animage. 768 GPM at 744 XP per minute. And we saw Illidan really in a position to take the game over early on.
Yeah.
But they just managed it. That's the only way to put it. They just dealt with it, managed him, drug the game out long enough, let Illidan kick, or let ZYF kick in with his farm. And by the time all said and done, Illidan finishes 5-7-5.
Well, you can see the frustration there from Illidan specifically, and you can't blame him, man. They had such a great start. His farm was on par with the anti-mage of all heroes for most of the game. Then ZYF was just very smart with his positioning. He was split pushing a lot when he needed to. It looked very, very grim. You saw the graphs there.
Yep.
But he just outmaneuvered them just a little bit. And also, of course, some of the things that to add on to top of that, the Ogre Magi being able to buff with Bloodlust is a very, very good combo with Anti-Mage specifically.
For sure.
And they just kited them out nicely. The Centaur 1-1 ultis were actually very effective defensively. Normally you don't see that. Normally you always want to be off